Today's story is about Gans Rise, the boy who smiled at the storm. A boy who began his journey with nothing but a smile, a fishing rod, and a dream to find his father. He didn't want power for domination. He didn't want fame. He wanted answers. From the very beginning, his heart was pure, the kind of purity that sees the world not for what it is, but for what it could be. And yet, the world he stepped into was not gentle. It was sharp, cold, and merciless. But Gon never flinched. His rise began with innocence, but it would not end there. The light that drew others in, wherever Gon went, people followed. Not because he was the strongest, but because his heart was unshakable. He inspired Killua to run towards life instead of away from it. He impressed Ahsoka, a predator, enough to be spared. He won the trust of people hardened by years of struggle. Gans Rise was fueled by a simple truth. When you believe in people, they sometimes start to believe in themselves. Innocence meets reality, but innocence is fragile. Gon's journey took him through the Hunter exam, Heaven's arena, and into worlds filled with betrayal, death, and monsters wearing human faces. He learned quickly, kindness does not shield you from cruelty. And sometimes, no matter how much you care, you cannot save everyone. The first sparks of rage, the turning point came when Kite fell. Up until then, Gon had seen challenges as games, hard, dangerous games, but still something he could overcome with effort. But Neferpitus shattered that illusion. Gon saw death, real and permanent, rip away someone he admired. It wasn't fair. It wasn't supposed to happen. And for the first time, Gon's rage began to awaken. The dangerous gift of anger, rage is a double-edged sword. It can fuel you, or consume you. For Gon, it became both. He trained harder, pushed further, risked more, not just to win, but to make those responsible pay. This wasn't the same boy who smiled at the storm. This was a boy who became the storm. The unbreakable resolve. When Gon made his promise to Batu to finish their business once Kite was healed, his words carried a weight that shook even the Chimera ant. There was no hesitation, no forgiveness, no fear. Gans Rise had transformed from a climb powered by innocence to a sprint driven by vengeance. The peak of his rage, and then the transformation. When Gon traded his future for the strength to fight Batu, it was the ultimate expression of his rage and resolve. He gave up everything, his dreams, his life beyond that moment, to keep this promise. In that instant, Gon was no longer the cheerful boy from Whale Island. He was a warrior forged in loss, burning with a fury so pure it erased all doubt. The cost of the rise, victory came, but at a price. The power that had carried Gon to the peak also left him broken, shattered, and near death. Rage had taken him to the summit, but it demanded everything in return. And yet, even in that brokenness, his rise was not over. Returned to the light, with time, healing, and the people who care for him, Gon began to rediscover the boy who had started it all. He met his father, not as a perfect hero, but as a man. And in that meeting, Gon learned something vital. The rise is not just about strength. It's about who you choose to be, even after the storm passes. The lesson of Gans Rise. Gon's story is not one of endless innocence or endless rage. It's the balance between the two. Innocence gave him hope. Rage gave him power. And together, they made him unstoppable. So when life pushes you to the edge, remember God. Start with a heart that believes. But if the world tries to break you, let your rage remind it who you are. Believe that.